All right, you two, what's up? We are back at it again. We're going to be doing a video rundown of a 5-0 with green black Char Belcher, Goblin Char Belcher. Pretty sweet list. I've been trying to follow it a little bit more, and we finally had someone here who managed to get a 5-0 with it. A game maker, is that what you want me to use your tag as?
A game maker, Adam, either way.
Adam, a game maker, pretty sweet. He's also in the Discord, and I'll have a link to that Discord down below in the video. It's pretty popping off right now because of a post on Reddit, so I may have put the Discord link in there, and so there's just tons of people joining today. But regardless, I managed to get the match records individually from Adam here, so we're going to go through those as best we can and try to break it down. Yeah, so how long have you been playing that deck then, Adam?
So I've been on red-green Charbelcher for probably close to a year. It's kind of been weird because of pandemic. I haven't been able to go to my local shop in 9 months or so.
Yeah, I feel that. Holy moly.
About a month ago, I got Magic Online back up again and bought this stuff for green-black Charbelcher, which it's a budget deck if you're wondering. So
it's pretty sweet. I think when I put it in there, I think it was like $44, 44 ticks basically.
Yeah, and that's probably most of that is in the sideboard.
Right, and which is pretty sweet. But so I guess let's just kind of like dive into it. I'm gonna hit play. As you said before, this specifically because we're doing it this way from your video recording. Some of the lines go pretty quick, but we can pause and break through like what happened during that. So it looks like this first match here, you are against, I think this is, when I was watching, this is the Prowess deck? Okay, so right there.
Obosh Prowess.
All right, so let's back up. Okay, so this was your hand originally. You had Powder Simian. So you didn't keep because you weren't able to create green mana, essentially, right?
I technically could create green mana. I didn't.
Oh yeah, I double Simian Morphos.
Double Simian into Mana Morphos into Attune with Aether. But on that side, it's kind of tough to see. This hand, I generally don't keep anything that doesn't get me 2 lands at 7. Because 2 lands and a finisher is the big kind of line for 7 and 6 card hands. So I'm able to powder this away. I'm losing 1 Mana Morphos, which is important for the combo a little bit, but it's not necessary, so it's not too big of a loss. I just have to keep my eyes on that.
Right, because you're going to powder this away, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you powdered into this.
And so this has exactly what we want.
Yeah, this
we got
is pretty good hand.
Chancellor, we got 3 lands here, actually. We have Undercity Informant, which is our finisher, and we have a little bit of acceleration with Wild Cantor so that it's a little bit flexible, and we have Unearth just in case to rebuy our Undercity Informant in case something bad happens. So this is a really good hand.
Yeah, and I actually had a few couple plays with Unearth, which are pretty crazy. Just being able to Unearth back even like a Cantor to cast like blue mana for the Thassa.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Too,
it's kind of wild what lines you can get into this deck.
So here so it is Prowess, which is
So
good. Which is good. That's like a good showing for the deck when you can beat a Prowess deck. So right there, you just your Caravan Vigiled for a forest, and you played the map out because that's what gets you the most amount of lands, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically what I want to do here, and then
opponent just
he's
goes
going
ham.
to attack me. He's going to stomp me, which is fine. I'm taking 4 damage here. It's not a big deal. I'm then going to, I believe, wait for my map, because ideally next turn what I would like to do is play Wild Cantor and Duress, but honestly, if I need to get a decision in here, it's basically, if I can play both if I draw one of my lands, that's great, then I can play both. But realistically what's going to happen is that I'm going to draw some spell, I'm going to play my map so that I can get a 3rd mana on turn 3, and then I'm going to decide whether I want to Duress or Cantor.
Okay, yeah. So now here I have a question. This is something I kind of was curious about. Do you fetch here before draw step with the map?
I don't remember if I fetch here. No, it's wrong to fetch here.
Okay, so I
have everything I want in my hand.
Well, I guess what I mean by that is if you fetch here, then you have less chance of drawing a land. Is that normally what you think we would want, or?
So it depends on what's in your hand. Here, what's in my hand is that I have Wild Cantor and Duress, which are two plays that I would like to make this turn.
Right. So it kind of doesn't matter
So if I
regardless.
drew the land, I have a dead card in my hand in Renegade map, but that's less important than being able to use my mana efficiently.
Right. Yeah. So if you go ahead and draw, I believe.
Nope. Okay,
That's
I
okay.
did it
So you
wrong.
did crack the map.
I did it wrong,
See,
but
I feel like that's the right play though, because then that clears out your land for like it just clears out a draw. So now you still
uh,
get to play your caress, or oh my goodness, you get a duress.
Duress.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Then you take their burst lightning, great card, because they're the card that has a firebolt. So
yeah.
might as well try to
So
get as much
that's
value. They
next
just
turn they're
play
gonna
their dude,
play
which is so
at me.
good. And I didn't check. It looked like our opponent mulligan there. So now we just fetched the forest
Uh,
with a map, and then we played Undersitter Informer.
yeah,
Um,
and so what's here is that's nice is that I don't have to worry about Undercity Informer dying too much because I have Unearth in my hand, meaning
right?
that
Yeah, in which
next
they
turn if
do.
he
They,
kills it,
which
I just get it back.
is so good because they do. They kill it. And you're like, okay, whatever. So now we get to unearth the Informer,
Yeah,
play the Cantor, and we can pretty safe pass the turn because opponent had no cards in hand.
yeah, and
Um,
they're gonna get a few, but like it's not.
right at this
Also,
point, yeah.
I could also block both of these creatures. I chose not to just in case they had some wild like what's it called? They had main deck surgical extraction or something ridiculous like that.
Right,
I
yeah.
actually have a little bit of resilience against that with the
Oh,
double
going a little fast.
um,
So I'll go back.
memories.
I'll go back so we
So,
can see the
yeah.
combo here.
So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack this at end of turn.
So I think
Well,
I
so
think you block crack.
yeah,
Okay,
I
no, okay,
block.
yep. So
It's a
block.
free block there.
Yep. So then at end of turn, you sack the Informer, targeting ourselves, which mills our entire library.
Yep.
And the super thing to note right here, though, I've only played a couple times, so I'll just make a few little interjections. Is you for sure want your upkeep stop on this deck,
Oh yeah.
like because it's super important when you're trying to combo off. Specifically with obviously the Informer or the with basically winning with Thassa, you need the upkeep stop, or otherwise you'll forget or miss it or something of that nature. And that's because, for example, here when it goes to his turn, he's gonna be able to see now. Before we draw, we have no cards in our library, so now he gets to cast Memory's Journey and just put Unearth on top, okay? And then he gets to draw the Unearth, and then he unearths Thassa, and we win.
Yep.
Pretty,
Simple as that.
pretty sweet deck. And okay, so this is the only cool. This is the only bad thing about this is we don't get to see your sideboard.
Yeah, so in this game, I bring in. I'm doing this from memory. I have
It's
four
okay.
Fatal Push in my sideboard, which the fourth one I don't know, and one Abrupt Decay, which you see
Yep,
there.
there's the abrupt. Yep.
And it's just basically I'm boarding in like I would against Prowse. I think didn't even see that he was playing Obosh until the beginning of this
Right.
game. Not that that matters too much.
Right,
It's
yeah,
a
I
similar
agree.
deck. But basically what I'm doing is Fatal Push is by far the best sideboard because occasionally we'll have one free mana. And what we want to do is we want to slow them down with that one free mana. So best case scenario is it's Fatal Push, they play a prowess creature, say on our turn 2 we're able to set up for our turn 3 play our threat, and at the same time Fatal Push their dude. And that allows us to slow them down probably a turn, honestly, and get ourselves just still in the game.
Okay, I am recording this. I'm gonna turn my cam off because I just realized it covers up some of the cards, and I don't have the card thing set up, so I'll just hide everything for now. So that's all right. We only missed one hand, and we explained it as we went anyways. But now you can
Yeah.
see the full hand. So he kept Chancellor, 2 ways to fetch lands, which is really good. In this situation, essentially it's 2 lands because we know what we're playing against. Would you keep a hand like this if you were against discard?
So I don't
I know
know. I
it's
do bring it. So
it's
the
a
thing,
tough call. That's why I'm asking these questions for
yeah,
myself too.
so this hand's a little tough against discard. I would say this hand's actually fairly resilient against discard just because of the fact that you have 2 threats that are honestly not Inquisitionable and Char Belcher and Balustrade.
That's fair. That's fair
Um,
for sure.
you have the most common piece in your deck is going to be Land Searchers, Lay of the Land effects.
Yeah.
So if they take your Lay of the Land effects, it'll probably slow you down a turn, but it won't be the end of the world. Obviously, the sideboard would be a bit different. I actually have 4 Leyline of Sanctities in my sideboard,
I saw that.
mostly to
It's
try
super
and
exciting. It's like one of
mostly to try and be able to win against Grixis Shadow. It's
card,
still
the
a
card ends up in my
pretty
deck a
terrible
lot.
matchup, but it makes our Jund matchup was already pretty decent, and
Yeah.
that just makes it good.
Yeah. All right.
Like it's
We'll
probably favored for us.
all right. So opponent, pretty typical prowess start leads off there. We draw Simeon, which is really good. So we vigil
Yeah,
for a
so-
forest. We're able to play the forest, and then you do go get your swamp right away.
Yes, and so the Simeon's nice here because I do have 2 threats that are 4 mana, meaning
Yeah.
I do need an accelerant. 'cause
So our
I don't
opponent
have
did hit
Leyline
a relic. So that's really cool
Yes.
that we already have the Belcher in hand.
Yeah, so that's one of the great things about this deck is that your opponent has to play against 2 different combos that are very disparate. And
Yeah. And they didn't even see the Belcher game one.
I mean, they saw it in my graveyard.
Oh, that's true.
They
That's
noticed
true.
it.
If they saw it, yeah.
If they noticed it. But it means that they have to be fighting against 2 different very very desperate combos that and we have great hands like this here where we're like, oh, you're going to waste a turn setting up a Relic
Right,
of
yeah.
Progenitus and hold it up for the rest of the game.
Now
I'm
I
just gonna
know.
go through with my game plan and just not care.
Now I know that you don't Belcher or you don't abrupt decay here. Do you think it would have been worth to abrupt decay the Soulscar Mage?
No, because it takes me down a turn.
You think that one turn isn't worth
Yeah,
them being
'cause-
down a turn? I think
'cause
I'm just jaded because I've been mutagenic, gut shotted before.
So the interesting thing I do is that keep in mind here, Simeon Monomorphos is still an option.
Oh yeah, that's super relevant. That's super
So
good call.
like if worst case scenario, I can still abrupt decay here.
Yeah, that's
but,
super relevant. Good call.
It's not my primary game plan. I think they're gonna hit me for some amount of damage, and I'm not gonna care. And they're gonna keep
Whoops.
up Relic of Progenitus for the rest of this game, which again I really don't care about because I have the Belcher in the hand.
Yeah, which is so good.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing too is you don't need tutor effects for Belcher in this because one, we can draw it naturally, which is super good, and 2, we have traverse. So if we need a traverse for our Belstrate Spy or our Informer, it's not that hard to do.
But Traverse, I mean, it gets a lot better in sideboard games, but it's actually fairly hard to turn on Traverse Delirium.
Well, we have.
But you do run.
I guess we
this
do
deck
have instant sorcery and artifact. I guess that's our easy go-tos.
Creature and instant can be tough. Instant gets a lot easier sideboard, and as you see here, I'm just kind of going through and being
We're just
my game
we're
plan.
playing casual Belcher. We have all of our land. Did you put the extra land in?
No, I did not.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know about prowess, but Obosh prowess, but I know most prowess decks don't play a
Like any land? Not yet.
and I don't want to slow down against that.
Not till wildfire cleansing.
Yeah.
So then they take their turn. They have 2 cards in hand. I don't know why they didn't even pop the relic because we have Belcher out. So I don't know what they're
Yeah, it's possible that they don't understand exactly what's going on.
right.
It's a weird deck. I get that they don't know exactly what's happening here.
Super fair.
They're like, how are you going to combo with Belcher? And the answer is,
Turns
I'm gonna
out
combo by hitting your face.
we did combo already. You missed it.
Yes. Although I have had, oh god, there's some great lines because
Nice.
Belcher allows you to resort your library if you have no lands.
Yeah,
There's been
yep.
some great lines with that, but not this game.
All right, so that was game 1. Going into game 2 here.
Yeah, I have to find which game, what games it is, because yeah, and this is the match where I have not really a good idea of what my opponent's deck
I
is trying
also
to do.
didn't know what was going on. I
Yeah,
was so confused. I
we
saw
go
this,
here,
I was like,
like-
oh, okay, they're just... Oh, sorry, okay, hold on, go
Would
back.
you mind going back a
Yeah,
little bit?
go back. Okay,
So
well, let's look at the hand we
starting
kept
hand,
first of
yeah,
all.
I mean that's probably close enough.
I think it just wins.
So-
Okay, here we go.
Yep. So our starting hand is 2 lands.
So good.
I mean, that's just how it happens sometimes.
It's
We have,
insane how that happens. I could play a 24 land deck and not get any lands for like 3 mulligans.
it's actually a little bit unfortunate because we have a Tune with Aether and Renegade map in our hand. So it's actually, we have one dead card in our hand because we only have one land to fetch with either of those.
Right.
So,
But this is
yeah,
a
we
keeper
have the
nonetheless.
combo. It's a little bit awkward here because
Because
we
of the
have Thassa's
Thassa.
Oracle in our
Yeah.
hand, but we have the Accelerant and Wild Canter, so it shouldn't matter too much. But if we were
Right.
just going on a 3-land and just using Undercity Informer, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
And
So I saw
here my
Reclaimer, and I was like,
so
oh,
we see
okay.
Reclaimer, and
It's like
that kind
Titan.
of perks me up.
I thought it was
Because,
like Titan Vial. Vial Titan.
yeah, that also perks me up because I'm like, okay, so I have to worry about Bajuka Bog.
Okay, this is going fast, so I'm trying to pause it.
Yeah.
All right, so you fetched
so
the swamp,
Spectre's
or you
Shriek.
fetched the forest with the map, and then you drew Spectre Shriek, and then you shrieked them.
So Spectre Shriek is a weird card because in most games it's terrible because, or in most decks it's terrible because if you pick a non-black, it's a Thoughtseize, accepted exiles, but if you pick a non-black card, you have to exile a card from your hand. The thing with this deck is that it actually ends up with a lot of dead cards in its hand, whether
Yeah.
that be through extra Attune with Aethers, extra of just having Chancellor of the Tangle in its hand. There's a lot of dead cards that can come about. So
For sure.
Seer Spectre's Shriek is basically a free, no life cost exiling Thoughtseize, which is great.
Okay, so we do shriek there. I didn't see what you took there. It was so fast.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it looked like Euro,
yeah, I believe it was an Uro.
and that's what looking at what the hand was. Euro would have been the best take, anyways. I think.
Yeah,
And then
was it Uro? No, I think it was. I was unclear with the deck, and there was a what's the one that mills from your library? Pick a land.
Satyr.
Satyr Wayfinder.
Okay, so do we take Satyr then?
Yes.
Okay,
So
and then
I
you
put
got, and then
Satyr
you
there just
you
because I was
exiled
unclear.
our Vile and played Cantor.
Yep.
Seems like a pretty good start so far because we have Informer. So now we draw Belcher even, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and so I choose to go the Charbelcher route here because I'm pretty sure they don't have a counter in hand, and
Right,
it's
they would have
very
had to
hard
drew
for
it
them.
that turn.
Yeah, they would have had to draw it that turn.
Mhm.
I'm a little worried about Ghost Quarter, but at the same time, that would slow them down 8
This is where I lost it. I saw the crab.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
I was just like, okay, what?
what just happened was my thought.
And then I just Belcher them, and
And then they're dead.
they're dead, but sets up interesting for game
Fun.
3.
And I was like, okay.
And so I'm trying to remember exactly what I brought in here because it's weird because it's not normal. I believe I bring in the ley lines, at least for game 3 I know I bring in the ley lines. I think I bring in Abrupt Decay, and I think for game 2 I actually bring in Defense Grid, which I find out is very ineffective because I don't think they have counter spells in their deck.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing. This deck I still don't exactly know what's going on. So, yep. Okay.
Oops. Okay. Well, we kept this hand.
Close enough. Yeah.
So yeah, so we kept this
so
hand.
we have
Go ahead.
2 lands, one that can be fetched turn 1 off of the opening gates, play Renegade map. Our turn 2 is going to be Talisman. We have Simeon Spirit Guide. We can play and activate Belcher just from this hand. It'd be nice to draw another Lay of the Land effect, but yeah.
How's Talisman been for you?
It's been alright. I've been kind of switching back between it and
Pentad?
Pentad, yes. But I think Talisman's just a bit better on the base case. I'm thinking there might be some viability to switching 1 for 1 Pentad, so your recross can, or your when you mill your library, you just have ever so slightly more options. But I think it's a fair way either. I think Talisman, it doesn't come up this game, but if they Ghost Quarter you or destroy your land, Talismans are really nice to have.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and that's really good. Permanent mana versus the Pentad, because Pentad's obviously more ramp, but Talisman's more resilient.
Yeah, and it ends up being that Pentad ends up producing about as the similar mana, but it just has rainbow mana instead
Crap.
and deals you 1 less damage. Because you end up playing Talisman. The turn you play it, you'll play a 1 mana spell off of it.
Okay, so I do see you put your 4th land in here.
Yes, I do bring in my 4th land. It's good because they're mill deck, and I generally will bring it in versus them because, well, if they mill one of my lands, that could just be devastating if I'm on 3 lands.
Now, is there a reason because you have the 4 lands, and is there a reason you didn't want to play Talisman off the Simeon into map here?
I could have. I did not think about that.
Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of why we're doing it, too. Which I think is cool. Here we get super crab milled.
Yeah, the big thing here is that if I don't use Simeon, then I can use Talisman plus Simeon to play Belcher, regardless of whatever else I draw.
Right, and that was a really good draw.
I will be able to, and so Utopia Sprawl ends up being a good draw, but I will be able to cast and activate Belcher.
So here, so here you put it on blue. Do you typically put Sprawl on blue?
A lot of the time, if we have to cast if I have a Talisman, I will, because one of the worst things that can happen to you is you draw your memory journeys.
Yeah.
And then if
that's why you always run 2.
Yes.
So here
that's why you run 2, but it just gives you some extra security. Here I'm putting it on blue because I have Talisman, which will produce 1 black mana, and I likely will be able to find another Swamp, which will produce another black.
Yeah, and this is a really good run out, too, because now you're able to have 4 mana, and you're able to shriek away whatever they have here.
And they pull the unexpected.
Then we get Force of Vigor.
Yeah, I mean...
But we did get a hit there, Dryad.
Yes.
They already have 1 in there, but we hit it.
We're crippled.
Yeah.
So... The only unfortunate thing is that
double crab.
Yeah, double crab is milling me a lot.
Which isn't like you think it would be a bad thing because we have the Memory's Journey to be able to pull out the win here.
The issue with that is that I don't have my 3rd land yet right now, so it's looking precarious.
And
we draw 1.
There's the Memory Journey we were looking for.
Yeah. And so they're quickly milling me. I'm no longer on the Charbelcher plan because, again,
did they just unearth their own Dryad?
Yes, they did.
And they attacked with the crabs. Your opponent is the best. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's quite a deck. And then they get another crab, and I'm just like, oh my god.
All right. So opponent wins for at least having.
Draw that.
Yeah. So we at least drew the Natural. We got this out. We're at 12 cards though.
Yeah.
And what's our opponent got here?
And the awkward thing here is that there's a Memory's Journey in my hand. I believe there's some weirdness to it. I actually didn't have any cards in my library at this point. The replay does not show that. I don't know what happened. Because basically what happens is they have and so I don't know what happened there, but it was not good. And also the other interesting thing is they don't, if I remember correctly from the game, they don't get their Dryad, they get their Reclaimer, which is important because when I have 0 cards in hand, if I Memory's Journey something back, they could then just sack a land, get a land.
Ooh, okay.
So here I bring in Leyline.
Sorry, was that I missed? This was the key. This was the opener hand, which I think is an insane hand, honestly.
It's pretty good. I have 2 lands here, an Accelerant, and a Leyline, which is going to be good.
Okay, we did mulligan. Okay, so I didn't catch our very first hand, but okay, so there we were able to Caravan Vigil for a forest, and with the forest here. I didn't know if you'd play Sprawl or go get another forest, so.
I generally like getting another forest.
Well, I think it's smart. I think it's super smart because they are obviously milling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird because they can't mill me particularly well right now.
Right. Oh, that's right. And Valakut.
They can't Valakut.
What is going on in opponent's deck? All right, so then we were able to. Did we have Simeon there?
We had Simeon there.
Okay, so we just Simeon out of Belcher.
Yeah. 2 lands and a Utopia Sprawl and a Simeon. And so here I have Charbelcher out. They have Abrupt Decay, which isn't actually effective. But now I'm in the precarious position of where I'm just activating Charbelcher at them.
Yep, we're not trying to one-shot them. Yeah, we're not trying to one-shot them. We're just trying to.
Yeah.
And their Valakut triggers. Lol.
Valakut, yeah, choosing not to. Getting beat down with some
Classic,
creatures.
classic. So now we hit them for 13.
Oh,
Still
13
pretty good.
damage.
And then
So
we
that's
just
a
get a
lot of
Morphos
damage.
now, try to hit a land, and then just do it again.
Yeah, it's what I got, and was enough. I
We
think I was pretty.
super deaded
Because there
them.
was 2 turns there, I was pretty likely to win.
Yeah, so Leyline
Because
super clutch there.
yeah,
Yeah, super clutch.
yeah, it's nice.
So that was match 2.
Yep.
Pretty good. So far you beat Prowess and Valakut Mill.
Yeah, I don't know what to call that, but it actually didn't work terribly.
No,
so
I mean
like,
it all kind of like whatever it was doing. Oh, sorry, whatever it was doing it together. So great opening hand again.
yeah, I'm missing an accelerant, but that's not too big of a deal. I have Memory's Journey in my hand, which I would rather not.
Right,
But
yeah, that's a tough one.
sometimes I can probably just monomorphose, cast Memory Journeys targeting nothing. I've done that before.
Oh yeah, that does work. Yes, so we get the map
Just to get
out.
in my graveyard, but
Yeah,
it depends on what happens exactly.
always scary seeing Scalding Tarn with this deck.
Yep, and so here I am thinning my library for lands.
Yep. So we're just getting the lands, just metamorphosing in general, just to
Yeah.
try to get what's up. All right, so
Yeah,
we got
and
that
so
out.
the thing there is that if I can hit one of my accelerants being Utopia Sprawl and Talisman, I want to do that
That's a good
before.
draw.
It's a nice draw to have. I'm gonna play Charbelcher here, see
Which
what's up. I
resolves, which
actually let it
is
resolve,
insane.
which means they don't have Remand or whatever,
So
and
it's
that means
Euro
the
coming
game's
down.
over.
All right. So when I see this, I just automatically assume it's Reclamation.
Yeah, it's definitely Euro Reclamation type thing. They
Yeah.
actually have 4 color deck, which is interesting, and I Charbelcher them.
And they're Mega
Easy peasy.
Ditto.
Yep.
It's always so much fun to watch. There's
Yeah.
always a pause. They're like, all right, so you're activating it.
Yeah.
Am I dead? Wow, you beat them in 2 games.
Yes.
Not even
no,
a third
so
game.
the fun fact that I didn't notice until after is that I only lost that one game against Euromil or
The
whatever
mill.
it was. Yeah.
I can't wait for this to be public here. Okay, so this is game 2. You did bring in the defense grids. You kept
Yeah,
this
which is a
hand.
great card here.
So this to me, obviously you have to keep what you have. To me,
Yeah.
I find this hand sketch
So I don't
because of
I have
force.
so force is fine, but likely what's going to happen is that I turn 1 I'm going to get 2 lands, and then if they leave, so you can let it play, but if they force my defense grid,
Well, no, they just force your first land spell.
oh, it's sketchy.
Yeah,
But
so like if
also,
they force that right there, you lose.
yes, I do, but
I mean, like not obviously 100%, but like we're gonna say a solid 90% chance that you're just gonna
so the
lose
thing
there.
is that they don't get is that I just kept a 7 there. If you mind pausing, because I
Oh,
want to kind of go over that.
I see.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
So I kept a 7 there, meaning there's half chance that I just straight up have a Chancellor and a land in hand.
True, true.
And if they force there, they're losing.
That's true.
'Cause
I don't
just
disagree
play my
there. Yeah.
forest, play another land
Yeah.
the land effect, and I'm like, oh, okay, you just got rid of the worst card in my hand for 2 cards.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So it's a risk, but it's also a risk for them.
I agree. So now you have forest into forest into.
And I choose, because they shocked there, I choose to go for the double spell instead of trying to resolve my defense grid.
Right.
I don't know if that was right, but I think it's decent.
Right. I
Especially-
think this is a safer option because you do have 3 lands. There's 1 left, but I mean, in reality, it's kind of whatever. And
Also,
I noticed you brought the 4th land in here again.
Yeah, it's good to have as much mana as possible against the slower decks, especially because usually bringing in the 4th land will improve your consistency, improve your reaction ability, but it'll slow down your deck a turn.
Right, which is
So,
fine.
you don't care about winning on turn 4.
Right, you
it's
just
fine.
want to resolve.
Yeah.
And what do you? We'll have to go over like we do it at the end a little bit more, but like what you can remember that you may have sideboarded out and stuff like that.
Sure.
So-
So I actually know for control matchups, I sideboard in a Duress, a Spectre Shriek, and 3 defense grids, and my land for my 4 Simians and my 2 Wild Cantors, because
Oh,
the
okay.
land actually helps kind of replace those Wild Cantors in the fact that you don't need that
You don't need
having
to
an extra
cast
land in
them.
your deck is going to be much more effective than just being
Yeah,
able to turn one
casting
mana
something
to
that
another.
can or get
Yeah,
remanded or essentially. Okay,
yeah.
so that's pretty good then. Yeah. Okay.
And the Simians, I'm going slow anyways. I'm not gonna win turn
Whoops.
4. Wah! And
They
so
s-
here I make a mistake.
Oh yeah, this is what
I
we were
thought they
talking
had no.
about.
I had it in my head that they were tapped out, so I could take the abrupt decay, and they would have to force my defense grid, and they would have to pitch a second card. Turns out they have mana up, and I should have taken the
The force,
force, and then they would have had to abrupt decay on
right?
their turn.
And they have a
But
Mystic Sanctuary anyways, obviously.
sure, but
And
that's not that big of a
they
deal.
put force back on top. So now whatever we play here is going to get forced. So you choose the Belcher to be forced.
Yes. Well, so no,
Oh,
it isn't going to get forced
I'm sorry.
yet
He has
because
remand. He has remand. Okay, yeah.
yeah, that was actually a turn where if they didn't have they hadn't drawn the right card there, they would have been dead.
Yep. Okay, so now we're feeling into it. Let me get my mouse out of
Yeah,
here.
we're
And
just
then they only
running a
have
card
two
into it.
and they only have two cards, which I think is super important to note.
And one of those cards is what's it called?
Aether Gust.
Aether Gust, which really doesn't disrupt my combo
Right,
particularly
yeah.
well. I'm able to resolve this
The
guy here.
yeah, which is super important. They just play a rack and they only have two cards and we know one of them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just go for a win.
Yeah. Upkeep, like we talked about before, on the upkeep.
Yeah.
And you do it on the upkeep so they have less time to respond, basically. So we can respond with open mana.
Yes, so
Because
that I
memories,
have.
yep.
Generally, it's because so that I have the mana to cast a second.
Okay, here, let's go
Memories
back on
Journey.
this one and why we did
Yeah.
it this way.
So here I have my Thassa's Oracle in hand. I'm able to. I put 2 Monomorphoses back in my library.
Yep.
So I'll draw one, produce blue mana, and draw the other. Meaning, even if they have a removal spell, they're just. Thassa's is going to resolve, and so as long as they don't have a counter spell there, we're good.
Yeah. Even if they did, right? It's on the stack. I thought that's how that worked.
So if they had a non-creature, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They let me win that game in turn early because I was thinking that Aether Gust didn't matter. Aether Gust could have postponed the Monomorphose a turn,
Oh yeah, they could have stopped the Manamorphose. Yeah.
but I guess they weren't they didn't see the line. And again,
Yeah.
unfamiliarity with the deck. It's a
Right,
weird
yeah.
deck.
Like, why are they casting Metamorphose for double? Oh, no.
Well, I mean, as soon as they cast Metamorphose, they're like, you have 2 Monomorphoses in your deck. Why are you casting a Monomorphose? Oh, you're no longer casting a green spell.
All
Okay,
right, so going to the fifth game here, you powdered, it looked like.
I don't believe I powder. I believe I mulligan and then
I think
throw
we
away a
just
powder.
missed it. Okay.
Oh, so yes, I cannot powder this because my Thassa's Oracle
Thas is in it.
hand.
Very smart. Dang, too, because this hand's like so close, too.
It's well, so it doesn't have a land I can play on turn 1.
Right,
Which is
you'd have
generally
to
a no-no.
force Simeon for a map, and then you're behind anyways because you can't map
Yeah.
till next turn. And then you got to sprawl, blah blah blah.
There's just
Yeah.
ever so slightly enough, and I can't.
Yep. So
Serum
so
because that would
normal
turn off
mulligan
my
here, and this hand's keepable.
Yeah, it's got 2 lands and a.
Has powder even been useful for you?
It's been all right. It definitely helps you keep higher hands, and I think especially when you're looking at like Leyline and Defense Grid, it's nice to be able to keep hands with multiple cards in them and those cards because then you're able to execute your game plan while still having a very powerful hate piece in your hand.
All right, so we kept this hand here. We drew a Spectre Shriek, really good draw.
Yeah, because
Especially because we have the powder. All right, yeah. I have cast powder quite a bit, but it is nice to be able to just.
You cast it occasionally, but we have the Wild Cantors, so it's unlikely.
Yep. So our opponent's got obviously playing some kind of Euro deck.
And yeah, so if I'm lucky, I draw a Simian here, which allows me to Spectre Shriek first.
Yeah.
And they counter it, and I'm just like, cool.
Yeah, and they hard cast the force.
Here.
Thank you. And they're like, well. And they just have a Jace. Feels bad, man.
Against Tri-Vulture.
Nice 4 man. Whose 4 mana is better? You tell me.
Yeah. And Charbelcher is great because once you resolve Charbelcher, they have to remove it and they can't counter anything anymore. You
Right,
have a turn.
and the best part is like they can't even destroy it in response
Yeah.
because this it just goes on the stack and it's still
You
this
don't
resolves.
play and activate it in the same turn. I found in this deck. Green
Wow, what
red
a
you
great
can.
hand! Holy moly!
Yeah, this is a great hand.
And this
I
is game
have
two,
brought
so
my plan. I think it's same sideboard plan as the last game.
yeah,
This is
it's just a
another Uro
control
deck.
deck. So yep.
And I have a few dead cards here, but maybe Traverse might turn on. Probably not.
Right.
I get another one. Uh, but my plan is that I'm just going to duress them. Kind of just. I have good cards. They have Ren and 6, which I really don't care about. I'm able
Yeah.
to get a lot of mana
You drew
here.
Utopia Sprawl so good. So now
Yeah.
you're able to play another land fetch and duress.
Yeah, get my last land.
Yep.
Play
Oh,
duress.
we duressed away the remand. I did. That was so fast. I didn't get to see what was in their hand.
Yeah, Magic Online is not good
Let's see
about
if I
showing you
can.
what's in a duress.
Holy
Yeah,
moly, that was nuts. I don't think I can do it. I'll try one more time here.
don't worry about it. Remand's a good thing as any to get.
Okay, well, we got remand. They left up
Yeah.
3 mana. He sent you a message. Did you ever see that?
oh.
What he sent you? Did you ever read it?
Yeah, so he was asking how this deck is consistent if I have to draw a land every game. This game was one where I drew a land in my starting
You
hand
had
every
2
game.
lands in your opener.
But yeah, but realistically, that's kind of just icing on the cake. Usually, you
Yeah,
have
I agree. I agree.
7 free mana sources, including Chancellor, and fingers crossed that we get some even better ones this coming set.
Yeah,
We'll see how
we don't need
that kind of changes
20,
the meta.
25 lands. Okay, get out of here. So
Yeah.
they're opting in response to your Informer at their end of turn.
Yes.
And we just dump our library here. And you didn't run anyone with like surgicals or anything too, so like this was pretty good. So here you
Yeah.
go
Also,
for just
the
a
thing is that like again, they're probably playing against my last combo, which was Belcher. They died to Belcher last game. Keep that in mind.
yeah.
The other thing to note is I do remember one of the cards in their hand was Wilt, which would be real good against Belcher, but it's real
Yeah.
bad.
I'm surprised they didn't even
against-
try to wilt the Utopia Sprawl even.
Yeah, they could, but it wouldn't actually matter.
So
here
they cycle
Wilt.
wilt, looking for
need to
force.
hope- yeah, they have to hope for a force. They don't get it.
Yeah, so
They're
now we
able
just get
to
a
combo off.
Unearth Asa and wham bam.
Yeah,
Was that game 4 or 5?
that was game 4. Or match 4.
Match 4, yeah.
And my last match, which was against...
This league for you in reality looks like it was like an hour.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It's just a smash.
Yeah. So this hand I can keep. It's weird because it has 2 serum powders, but worst comes to worst, turn 3 I play serum powder, turn 4 I play Charbelcher.
Exactly. And that's how I felt about Serum Powder. I'm like, it's like really... Oh, and you can play against Neoform?
Yeah, so
That's-
it's interesting because I'm like, oh god, it's another
You're like,
deck
I'm
with
playing
Wild
for
Cantor
I'm
in it.
playing for a 5-0 against Neoform. How
And-
terrifying.
Yeah. This first game, they just really don't have anything. I'm just playing my game. I don't even disrupt them any. I think I
Right,
could.
yeah. So we just morphos, just getting some
Yeah.
looking
I have
for
the
some
Undercity
stuff.
Informer, so I can kill turn 4 without having to serum powder, but I'm hoping to
Yeah.
draw.
And when they
discard spell.
metamorphose, that means you're in the good.
Yeah.
I don't know what they kept. They must have kept a hand with just like Neoform.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
Having
here
them-
we just
I
do
think
our
it was
thing.
a 7
and-
too. They must have just been like missing one piece or something.
Yeah. I
And
play a
so
lot of
here I-
Neoform, so I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just do traditional Unearth and get back our Thassa.
Yep. And then this next game.
Who's the better Cantor deck now?
Yeah. So I bring in. I think I only bring in my Duress and Spectre Shriek here.
Which
'cause
makes
there's
sense.
not a
Those
whole
are
lot.
just good gets. Yeah, because if they're gonna combo, they're gonna combo.
Yeah.
So
and-
here we get the powder, I assume.
Yeah, we'll powder here.
This hand's
Here-
reasonable.
We don't have a finisher, so we can't really keep this.
Okay, so you pitch it.
Here we don't have a way of producing green mana, and here I make a mistake because I think the Utopia spell on the left is an Attune with Aether.
You're like, oh no.
I also pitched like I legitimately thought it was that, and then I like look at my hand again, and I'm like, oh, like up until the point where I do the
Nah,
swap, I was
this
like,
was on
oh no.
purpose, obviously.
And
And
so
they mold pretty
they moved it
hard.
to like 4.
Yeah, and you
I
just
took
took
their
their
neoform,
yeah.
and then they're just stuck.
What a dirtle match.
And so here I am with one land and a
And you can't even Utopia
Palaces.
Sprawl. Oh no, and you
And I
drew
draw
the
Thassa's Oracle.
Thassa.
Like I'm drawing nothing good,
Oh
but they
my
need like to
gosh.
draw at least like 3 cards to even
What
go
a
off.
dirtle game. Hey, we're in it.
Yeah, we're in it. We're casting Belcher next turn.
Yeah,
So
and they're not doing anything, we know that.
Yeah.
They
I
need
think
at
they
least
literally can't kill me by the time I'm activating
Yeah.
Belcher because they need just so many cards. That's the
Yeah,
one
they
thing I
need
like about
3,
Belcher.
4. They need 4 cards at least.
They need 5 cards because
'Cause
they need
one
1
for-
extra mana.
Yeah. And
And
then
then we Belcher them because we
bam.
do the lay of the land, and that's it.
That's a feels good, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's real awesome. Let me see then if I can. Let me try to pull up the deck real quick here.
Yeah.
I think you just posted it again, and I was posting it too. I'll just use the tapped out list here. So
Yeah.
this is the list you're on right now, right?
Yeah, so I think it's
Can you
pretty
see my screen?
consistently this. I think the Recross the Paths has been a pretty open slot. Here I played in that in that league I played a 4th Fatal Push instead of Recross the Paths. In the sideboard.
In the
I'm
side,
not exactly sure what to do with that slot.
right? And
But
you're not playing recross in this version, right?
it was no.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
basically there as like a last minute addition just to fill out my sideboard.
yeah.
I've heard some good things about it because it can allow you to combo off even through graveyard hate in certain circumstances, but it's not
I think it
crazy.
requires such a setup.
Yeah, it's not. It's a matter of if their game plan is to just turn off your win conditions and then they have nothing else, it'll help. But
Right.
I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great. I like this list a lot. I ran it actually just once or twice today, just messing
Mhm.
around with it, and I had some really fun games.
Yeah.
Like I said, go
I
ahead.
love that you can play main board disruption because it's
Yes,
just so nice
I
to
think
be able
this
to
is
duress stuff.
this is super important. Now, would you ever play something over Shriek, like a Thought Seize, or do you just think Shriek's so much better because of the not having to take that life loss?
So I think at least the first 2 streaks are better than Thoughtseize.
Okay.
The third one might, because in a game you'll probably have 1 dead card that
That's
you're just
fair.
willing to throw away entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
The 4th shriek could be a problem because you'll run into getting multiple shrieks in a game pretty regularly. So I wouldn't go up to like a 4th shriek or anything. But I think 2 in the main board, 3 in the side or 3 counting the side is pretty good. Duress is pretty good. The damage from Thoughtseize is not nothing. Although I suppose I could see it in the sideboard a bit because most of the time you're bringing them in. You'll bring it in against things like Jun, things like Death Shadow, but generally you're definitely not bringing it in versus Burn or anything, so it's not actually a hamper there.
And even from Card Hoarder, it's 46 ticks.
Yeah, and I think
that includes these two.
I don't know exactly, but I'm 90% sure that like
It's like all Leyline.
Leyline of Sanctity is like 10 of those ticks, and
Defense Grid is
Defense
that's only
Grid's cheap.
45. This is 7 on
Abrupt Decay is like another 5 of those.
7.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean, Metamorphose. Well, no, they're only
Metamorphose
$1.
is
That's not
nothing.
bad. Oh my gosh, never mind. It's the
Yeah,
Utopia
Utopia
Sprawls.
Sprawls
They're 250. So yeah,
Yeah.
for 40 for less than 50 ticks though, you get a
and
sweet
you
combo deck that you 5-0'd with. We got some other really cool things, and it's not even. We can't even say that this deck's at its like peak.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the new Zendikar set because the new spell lands are going to come out, and they're
Mogul
going to
lands or whatever.
greatly improve our consistency. It'll be interesting to see. Right now we're at the point where we know that red and white have a bolt yourself land, but we don't know if green will, but it seems like all of them are cycles.
Yeah, it looks like
so
they were cycles. So, but yeah, I
it's
mean,
likely.
just even the red land, being able to play that in this list seems pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll play the tap lands in this list to some extent. It'll slow you down a turn, but it'll improve your consistency a
which
bunch
is
because
huge. Yeah,
by far the biggest reason you have to mulligan is because you don't have start opening mana in your starting
yeah,
hand.
yeah. And
And
just being able to flip a card over and play a tap land is infinitely better. Being able to set you up for, next turn be able to get 2 lands out of your deck, and that's then all you need. Because sometimes that could put you back on par with being on pace. Because you still have the trick that you didn't get to do that game, which was sacking your Cantor, then casting your Vigil, be able to put that land into play, and that's basically a ramp,
yeah, I think
with
that's
Morbid.
less good in the green-black version. It is really good in the green-red version. It'll oftentimes speed you up a turn, if
Yeah,
not like set you up for more.
yeah, but it's
Green-black is a little bit harder because of how the mana works out. You're using a lot of accelerants that cost mana, so it's
yeah,
harder to play them that turn. But yeah, it's definitely a thing to
yeah.
think
It's
about.
definitely a line that's in this version still that can be relevant. Is
Yeah,
basically
I've definitely done one turn 3 with this deck a few
so.
times. I don't think I did it in this league at all. Maybe I did.
I don't know. You just hard cast Belcher and killed people. So,
Yeah,
but that's awesome. Congrats on the 5-0. I can't wait to
you.
see it at the dump. I hope that's gonna be sweet. We got a sweet Reddit post going. I'll have the Discord down below for everyone else that wants to check out the Discord, get in with us. Ask questions. If you have suggestions, you can fire that away either in the comments down below or, like I said, just get in the Discord, talk with everyone. It's growing at a very,
Yeah,
very
we're
fast
excited
rate.
for Brew.
Since we've been doing this just now, we've had 1, 2, 2 more people join just from that, and then today, because of me, I may have posted this on Reddit, the Discord link. We've had like 20 people join just today, because everyone loves Belcher. No one will admit it usually aloud, but everyone loves the Belcher. Someone just joined just now.
Yeah. Everyone loves, what is it? Magic as Richard Garfield intended. TM.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so thanks everyone for checking us out. If you want to learn more, like I said, join us in the Discord and ask questions. And until the next time, we'll catch you then. Peace.